Hi, this is Josh, your EdTech spec, and there's a photo technique that I wanted to show folks. I show it in presentations at EdTech conferences sometimes. I call it screen cheating, and while I'm going to show it to you in Google Slides, there's nothing to say you can't do it in Google Draw, or really anything where you're working with images and you have the capability to manipulate them the way I'm going to. Okay, so what we have here is we have an image. And see, this is in my demo that I let people practice in. We have an image that doesn't really fit. So I have these directions overlay, which is an idea I got from Mark Hammons. So we're going to delete that and see we have this pink background and we have this picture of the student being thoughtful. And even if we stretch it out and go full size, we've still got this over here. So it makes it sort of difficult if we're going to add text to the slide, because either and we want a full image. This isn't really wide enough to do anything. Now what students often do is just pull it and stretch like that, and that's not too bad here, but there are lots of pictures where they'll either do that or they'll squidge it up to make enough room, and then it just starts to look wrong, and it's not really the best way to do that. So I learned this. This is a variation on the ScreenCheat technique that I learned. Props to Mark Hammons and Ariana Flewelling for helping me to learn all that stuff. In any case, so the idea is we want to get some text on here, but we want the image to sort of fill up. So I'm gonna show you a way to screen cheat. In other words, get the picture to fit all the way over, sort of, and then use a technique to put an image, a translucent text box over it, and it'll have it looking all spiffy. So the first thing we're going to do is on a Mac, we're going to select the picture. Well, on any computer, we're going to select the picture first. On a Mac, we're going to Command D. On everything else, we're going to Control D. And you can do that with whole slides. And what that is duplicate rather. It's sort of copy and paste in one shot. And then the next thing I'm going to do, so you see I have two of them here, exact same thing. Then the next thing I'm going to do is right click, and then under rotate, flip horizontally. And there's a reason for that. So you can do this another way, but I think this way is the fastest way. So what I really want is I really kind of want to match this edge and that edge. Now that's going to give me some mirror symmetry, and in Google Slides it's always going to have this like 1 pixel line, so we're going to have to do something I call underlapping. But the first thing is, just to make our lives a little bit easier, we're going to double click on this image and we're going to chop it down to about what we need, just to make it easier to work with. Now that's still too much, but it does help us. So then we're going to right click again, or if you didn't want to right click with the image selected, you could come up here to the Arrange menu and go to Order, and we're going to send backwards. So slides build in layers, and the last thing you built is always at the top layer, so we need to send this back a little bit so it will underlap the original picture. That red line tells us we're all sort of lined up. So this, we can fidget with this, and if you're a real stickler like me for cropping, you're going to crop again to get that red line, and so we're just right to the edge of the slide now, and that's okay. Another trick you can do is take this out further and then sort of stretch it a little bit, because the stretching throws the mirrored symmetry off. And again, you're going to want to play with it a little bit to get it to where it looks like it's pretty good to you. You don't have to do this part, because in presentation mode you only see what you see. Okay, so now we have extended out to the side. Is it perfect? No, but that's okay, because we're going to cover it with a transparent text box anyway. So the first thing we're going to do is draw out our text box and make it go all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom. And sometimes you'll see that blue, and sometimes you'll get the red line on the last one. So now if we just start writing our text here, depending on what color we use and what font we use, that's going to be a little bit difficult to read. But we're going to do this next trick, which is we're going to add fill color to the text box, but then we're going to make it translucent so we can still see the picture through the text box. So in my experience, you want to pick the major dominant background color in here, and you can go ahead and you go to the bucket and you can find one of the greens that maybe matches, or you can use this Chrome extension called Eyedropper Color Picker, and then just sort of find a good light green, see where the crosshairs are, and as I change, see how it, if I move it to her skin, it'll mirror her skin. So we're going to go with sort of a medium green there. That's a little dark. We're going to go maybe this one. We'll see how that works. So once you click on it, that is the hex code color, so we're just going to click copy. And I'm going to close that out. Now we have our text box again. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to say custom color on the fill. And then we're just going to paste in what we have. Now, if I do that, I'm going to have solid color here. And this is the color value. But this slider right here shows turns down opacity or up transparency. So then what we get is I'm going to sort of eyeball this. We go, okay, so we've got, this helps camouflage our ScreenCheat, and for the rest of the slides we have this custom color. It'll hang out here in the custom color bar. So now I'm going to double click in here, and I personally like it when the text is centered. We're going to turn that up to 36 so you can see, and since we've got a darkish sort of background, I'm going to go with white text. I'm not a big fan of Arial, even just for demonstration purposes. So we'll go with this one. And because I know I'm going to be presenting this to an audience and not everybody will be able to see, I'm going to turn that up to bold. So now we have our text. We have a full screen image. And we have matched the proportion. Now, if you're really looking and you know where to look, you can see that line. But really, we've kind of hidden it. So we've taken an out of proportion image. We've made it stretch to the edge without pulling the image out of square. And then we've used our transparent text box and some crafty tricks with our color picker, or maybe we could have just eyeballed the color. And now it's all hidden and it looks super awesome. And you can use this all the time. You can use this in slides, you can use it in drawings, and if you're having trouble reading text on an image but you still need to see the whole image or want to see the whole image because it feels a little bit more immersive, this transparent text box is a really awesome trick, and you can do the same thing with shapes as well. Hope that was helpful and useful to you.